Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome inside Garage Door Sports, your no-holds-barred weekly discussion on everything in the sporting world. That's right, folks. Hey, we are back. Another week means another episode of Garage Door Sports. Nick McVicker, joined through the Garage Door Sports Cup phone by my two amazing co-hosts, Kyle Vardy and Irfan Manji. Kyle, my man, how you doing this morning?
Doing good. A little tired this morning, but otherwise can't complain. So,
Yeah, we had a busy week, so that's to be expected. Irfan, nice to have you back, sir. How are you doing?
Good.
Good.
It's a good day today.
That was the slyest good I think I've ever seen from you. Good.
Good. We've got a good little episode today.
Yeah, we do.
How you doing, Nick?
I'm good, man. It's been a tough week. Kyle knows exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm good now. Everything's good to go. So let's get right into it. And Irfan, you're right. It is a big episode. It's a fun episode. Because, guys, we made it to 100. 100
Yay.
episodes since the relaunch. 100 episodes of our three knuckleheads talking sports together. So much that we're going to get into, like, everything that we've done over the last... We're actually coming up on 3 years, eh? January 21st is 3 years.
wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
crazy.
We've been in a relationship for this long. Whew. Whew.
It's a new record.
Wow.
So it's crazy to think that it's been almost 3 years of us doing this together. Obviously, not every week. Sometimes weeks needed to be taken off for mental reasons, for scheduling reasons. Schedules suck.
Yeah.
But you know what? We've made it to 100, and as much as I want to get into that, and we will, we got to recap this week of sports craziness because it has been a crazy week in sports. There's no doubt about that. So let's get right into it with our kickoff segment sponsored by Canada Kicking Academy. Calling all kickers and punters in the Southern Ontario region. If you are looking for year-round professional development with elite competition, you need to train with the Canada Kicking Academy. The Ferrara brothers, Daniel and Gabe, are both University of Guelph alumni, and after illustrious university careers, they want to teach you everything they've learned over the years. If you want to take your special teams game to the next level, visit them at CanadaKickingAcademy.com or follow them on Instagram for more information. First time I've nailed that in a few weeks. I'm very happy about that. Unfortunately, it's not a very positive kickoff segment this week because the big story from this week in sports is COVID again. And it is decimating North American sports again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the cases are on the rise all over every league. Like, you can't name a professional sports league right now that isn't dealing with COVID. We can go even across the ocean and say, oh yeah, the EPL ain't doing too hot. They've already postponed, I think it's at least 2 games, right, Irfan?
4 out of 6 today, I think.
Is it 4 now? It was 2 yesterday when I was paying attention because I know Man U had their game postponed and there was one more. It's up to 4.
Yes.
The only 2 games was Arsenal, Leeds, and Villa. Who the hell was
Villa got his postponed today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just Sky Sports has this thing where it's like all matchups of the weekend. Yeah. 5 matchups of the weekend, and then they keep eliminating one matchup every couple of hours.
Jeez. Mm-hmm. I'm actually surprised that the Arsenal game's going on then at this rate. Like,
yeah,
but actually, yeah, it makes it 5 games now. Actually, with that Villa.
Yeah, 5 out of 6. Yeah. That's just ridiculous. Like, that's my point though. Like, COVID cases just on the rise across the leagues. We can look at the North American League specifically. The NHL has had 20 games postponed as of like the latest update. There's probably going to be more coming because close to 70 players are affected. And I think, Irfan, you and me were talking before, it's 19 Flames.
Yeah.
That's basically their entire roster. I think they have 4 guys who are on the NHL roster before all this that have not been affected. 4.
Mm-hmm. 4.
It's not okay. And yet they're still like playing games. 3 teams have had all of their games canceled till after Christmas. The Flames, the Avalanche, and the Panthers. You're getting players left, right, and center being put into protocol. I don't get why they keep stopping. We can move on. I'll talk NFL. They've had to move 3 games this weekend now. They haven't like canceled any, but they've moved 3 games from Sunday to one was moved to Monday, and the other 2 were moved to Tuesday. But more than 70 players tested positive this week alone. I think it was actually more than 70 players tested positive Monday and Tuesday alone, and then they've had more since then.
Like, yeah, the NFL is an interesting situation because there's a lot of people up in arms right now about that. So
they shouldn't be playing. Like,
well, no, technically, the team should forfeit according to the rules in the NBA in the NFL.
I get that too. I don't care. They just shouldn't be playing these games this week.
Yeah,
right. I just don't get it.
Yeah. It all comes down to money. That's the biggest thing.
I know it does. I get that, but like, still. And then we'll go to the NBA quickly, and then we'll talk like more in depth about this and give our opinions. But the NBA, 52 players across the league since December 11th. So what is it? The 18th?
Yeah,
7 days. 52 players have entered COVID protocols. Technically, if you want to add them in, Serge Ibaka and Precious Achiuwa were also in COVID protocols, but that's because of a close contact issue. So I didn't count them in the 52 because Toronto has more strict guidelines. So Precious was put in like a modified protocol sort of thing for the NBA, and Serge was sort of the same thing. But 52 players in 7 days, and it keeps going up. Like, it's not going to stop. The Bulls had 10 players at one point on COVID protocols. The Nets had 8, I think, 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And they still played games, the Nets. The Bulls didn't. They had their games canceled, which was the right thing to do, in my opinion, at least. When 10 players are on COVID protocol, you probably shouldn't be playing a game anyway. You probably don't have enough bodies to play a game.
Yeah.
So I guess like the question is like, what should these leagues be doing, Kyle? Like I just don't know what to say. What should they be doing?
I think it's pretty obvious what they should be doing. What they're not going to do is exactly what they should do. I mean, they should shut everything down at least until the new year. At least give them 2-3 weeks of just nothing. Everybody isolates. Everybody does their own thing. And then in those times, you increase your steps, right? You gotta, maybe you do extra testing, maybe you do more isolation, whatever you need to do. You put more rules and regulations in place. Get those while everybody's back at home. Go enjoy the holidays. Go spend 2-3 weeks with your family, whatever. We'll come back in the new year and start this fresh. And you can figure out the scheduling thing. It's not that big of a deal to figure out scheduling. It's really not. But unfortunately, sports aren't going to do that because it's all going to come down to, well, we're going to postpone these games or push it back a little bit. But if you're healthy enough, we're going to run those games because we need the money in the meantime while the other games are postponed is essentially what it is. It's just like the NFL. The NFL, in the rules, and there's a bunch of players up in arms right now, in the rules, if you cannot field a team based on COVID, you forfeit that game. And it's simple as that. And based on that, it's also kind of interesting that the NFLPA, who approved this, the leader just so happens to play for the Cleveland Browns. Funny how that works.
Who's the head of the NFLPA right now?
I didn't read it. I just saw that it was a Cleveland guy who actually is it. Who's
okay? You keep talking. I'm gonna look it up because I'm
leader of it. So I found that kind of funny. The fact that Cleveland is probably one of the worst teams right now in the NFL, and just so happens that they bypass the rules and move the game rather than forfeit. But in anyways, it's simple. They need to postpone games. They need to take these extra precautions, and they need to, reevaluate in the new year. It's as simple as that. But they're not going to because that's going to be a huge loss of money. So,
I'll add to you, Kyle. Adding the third vaccine and the booster, whatever they're calling it out. They're not calling it a vaccine. Some people are calling it a booster. Whatever. But like getting that rollout going as well. The only question I'll have about telling players to go spend time with family, which is important, yes. But what happens is, players come back and they've contracted something from family, so now you're gonna lose another couple of weeks. So then you might just be like, go spend a week with your family and then come back, and that's probably the way to spread, limit spread and whatnot. But yeah, no, like stopping games, taking a break, figuring out the new protocol with the new variant or whatever's happening. Like, are you guys ready to handle that process? And then you know what? Maybe just putting out an order saying you need to be vaccinated to play.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe simple as that.
The biggest issue is this new variant is it's the most contagious one. That's the biggest thing,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. The symptoms aren't as bad, and that's
well,
been,
okay.
that's been
We gotta be very clear about saying that, because some studies have said that they can be just as bad as Delta, but for the most part, most of the cases so far have been mild. So let's not. I don't want to spread any misinformation. We don't really know the science behind it. Let's make that very clear, right? Us three don't know it.
It spreads the most out of any variant.
Yes,
that is
that one is true. That one is fact. I will give you that. I'm just saying.
So it's one of those. It's simple how to counter it. It really is. You don't allow it to be spread.
Yeah, I read a tweet this morning where it's like, people keep forgetting that we are in a pandemic, and when you tell them to be careful, they look at you funny, and it's like, actually, just because it's the holidays doesn't mean we're exempt from any sort of variant. But yeah, just be safe, guys. That's basically the message coming out here, even for players, even for regular folks. It's just make the right decision. If there's too many people in a place, yeah, maybe don't do that.
Well, and it's simple. We want the best sports on, and we want everybody safe, and want the best possible sport being played. And having 19 friggin' people in COVID protocol doesn't exactly make you field the best team.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
Figure it out, people.
You know what? To be honest, if there's 3 weeks of no sports, I'll just catch up on some readings or catch up on a movies that I haven't watched. Like, guys, there's things to do. FaceTime with your friends. Hello, we have a freaking podcast. We see each other once a week. Like, maybe don't kick up a podcast, but see some people that way. I know we're kind of regressing, but this needs to end.
But I've been saying this all week. Like, it's almost, this is going to sound really dumb, but it's almost the perfect time for these leagues to shut down, right? It's right around Christmas. I know it sucks, but at the same time, like, use it as a reset. I know they want to make money over the Christmas break because everyone's home, so they can watch TV, blah, 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 blah. But listen, the players want to be able to see their families at Christmas. Everyone does. Like, that goes without saying. And I know you have to be really careful with COVID, and that's why I'm probably not going to be able to go to my family Christmas this year, because they've just put the restrictions down to 10 people again, and I'm usually the 11th person on the list.
So question about that quickly. Sorry, Nick.
Yes.
So for stadiums, you're allowed about 10,000 people.
Yes.
But in your families, you're only allowed 10.
Because they're using this fact that you will pretty much be told to wear a mask at the stadium, which is not true. I've been at the Scotiabank Arena, but that's what they're going to say, is that they are trying to enforce mask policies at the stadiums where you can't really do that at a house. That's what they're going to say. I'm not saying I agree with it, but that's what they're going to say.
No.
But anyways, take the time. Take the 2-3 weeks before the new year. Restart everything in January. Give the players a chance to try to reset. Give the teams a chance to try to reset amongst the COVID stuff. I've been saying this all week. Me and Kyle, I'm pretty sure, talked about this on Tuesday. And then again on Wednesday, and then again on Thursday, because he saw me both of those days. Like, take the chance to reset.
No.
What does that hurt? It doesn't hurt you in any way. A little bit in the money, but you're still going to play those games. I'm not saying, like, cancel the games. I'm just saying move them. I know it's a little harder for the NFL. I get that. The NFL is the one that would have the hardest time trying to do that. But you realize that the NHL right now has a 2-week window already set. Because let's be honest, if they send players to the Olympics, the NHLPA is not doing their job protecting the players' best interest. As much as I want to see NHL players in the Olympics, and I think we all agree, the Olympic Games is so much better when there's NHL players in it.
Yeah.
This ain't the year to go. I don't think any athletes should be going to China right now.
Well, and I think if they do, I'm sorry, but you have to quarantine for minimum 2 to 3 weeks. Like, sorry,
Exactly.
it's got to be that.
So
Like you
they're
if
then affecting the rest of the season.
100%, and that's why I think like sure, like if you want to do that, technically the NHL is not going to stop you because they already said it's up to the players. But if you do go, there's got to be some sort of requirements or something. Even if you're double vaxxed, it doesn't matter. You still have to quarantine,
Yeah.
especially with the amount of exposure you have at the Olympics.
Yeah.
There's got to be something in place.
Agreed. Irfan's smirking in the corner now.
I'm laughing because I mean this is a discussion that they did this with Tokyo, so why not just push it another year? Like I don't like it's blowing my mind that Tokyo recognized this, but Beijing hasn't done this yet. You realized that everything's being pushed to begin with. Just take the push.
Mm.
I'd rather have healthy players and healthy people. I mean, I think we all would
Yeah.
at the end of the day, but in reality, again, it comes back to, well, we've put so much money into this. What are we gonna do? Like, is Qatar like talking about the bigger tournaments and events? Is the World Cup gonna get pushed if this continues? Probably not, because there's so much in
Because
the
it's
hole that they
Qatar.
need to.
Mm.
Yeah, right there. There's so much in the hole to do all these things. So, I mean, unless something drastic happens, where like 50% of the North American population is sick,
No,
they
and I know
probably
that,
won't.
but like at this point, there actually is a stipulation in the agreement with the NHLPA and the NHL that if the risk of COVID is too high in the season, and they have to postpone enough games and or like potentially close down for 2 weeks, that they don't go to the Olympics. Like that's in the agreement that they have about the Olympics
Yeah.
because they'll need to use those 2 weeks to make stuff up. Well, listen,
Mm.
I think we're there.
Yeah.
If more than 75 players are in COVID protocol right now, you have an entire team almost in COVID protocol in the Flames. I think we're there. Am I wrong in thinking this, guy? Like, I just don't get why this is being such an issue for the league to just wrap their head around. We're there. We have reached that point of no return at this point. Either you step in and shut everything down for a couple weeks to try to stop the point of no return, or you go full bore and we're gonna have multiple teams in the same situation as the Flames soon, right, Kyle?
Yeah. I think it's just I don't think for some reason I don't think they want to admit that this is truly a thing. It's weird, but it's almost as if they're like, no, it's only affecting some teams. It's not affecting everybody. Well, it's not. It's affecting everybody because the minimum every team has like 2 or 3 people at the very minimum that are being affected by this. So it's a full league wide thing, but it's almost as if they don't want to admit that. And I mean, we can only say so much about them that they don't want to admit that, but it's the truth. So
Yeah. I just, Irfan, I don't know. Like, am I wrong in thinking that it's time to just shut it down for a little bit? As much as I love sports, like obviously I do. We have a sports podcast. We're on a sports podcast right now. I love
Hmm.
sports, but we might need to shut it down.
Yeah, I have no problems with that. Like I don't think you're far fetched. I don't think you're reaching at all. I think take the break. And you know what though, if the Olympics is so worried or double IHF is so worried about hockey players coming to the Olympics to play, then maybe just push the hockey portion to a different time of the
They
year.
can't do that. I know they can't do that. Like that won't work.
Well, well, fine. But I'm just saying, like, there's just try and like, I don't know. I don't think I think a person's life and safety
Agreed.
and is much more important.
And
And
you're
I think we
hearing some
forget
of the
that.
players say it too, right? Like they're like, I'm not sure I want to go to the Olympics at this point.
mm-hmm.
As much as I want to play for my country, I probably won't go. It's like, okay, well, that's a thing. Like, this has now got to the players' minds, and they're like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be going to this because it's just not safe. I don't want to have to quarantine for 5 weeks in China because that's the other thing. Like, if one of them tests positive, that player's there for at least a month
Yeah.
in China, not here. They don't get to come back. They're stuck
No.
there.
Well, like take the NHL example. If any American team comes up to Canada and
Yeah.
they catch it, they still have to stay in Canada for 2 weeks to the isolation period. So like you're already doing this within North America. You're doing it between Canada and the US. Like how
But the difference is, what is the isolation period here? 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's
No, no.
minimum 4 in
No, no, I
China.
get that. I get that. I was like, so like if we're already at this level of isolation and bearing down, like now you're going to international waters. Like, what's the difference? You know what I mean? Like, it's a huge jump.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
So
is.
people don't want to do the 2 weeks here, and then what? They're gonna be willing to do the 4 weeks. Yeah.
Exactly. I just don't get it. I don't understand why they're pushing so hard to have this go this way, but well, no, I do. I know it's money, Kyle. I know what you're gonna say, but
Pretty much.
but like they have to look out for the players. They have to look out for the teams. Like I think the Cleveland Browns are using what, a fourth string quarterback this week. I think it's
Yeah, I think they're
technically.
signing.
I think it's technically third, but they signed the guy from the practice squad on Tuesday.
Yeah, they signed him off the practice squad. Yeah.
Like on Tuesday,
But
not even last week, right? Like it's not like he's been with the
yeah,
team for a while. He's off the practice squad Tuesday.
but with now pushing the game, they might be back from protocol. So
Mm.
Well, no, because they both tested positive.
yeah, but you still, if you put 2 negative tests within 24 hours or whatever, then they technically by NFL you're allowed to. So.
That's in and of itself a little bit ridiculous, but yeah.
Yep.
Add another player to the NBA protocols. So we're in the mid-50s now.
Who?
Miles McBride of the Knicks.
Oh, jeez. Another Knicks player? Jeez. That's always good. All right. Well, I think I've yelled enough about this, so that'll do it for our kickoff segment sponsored by Canada Kicking Academy. Make sure you check them out at CanadaKickingAcademy.com or on Instagram at Canada Kicking Academy for more information on how to take your special teams game to the next level. Let's stick with the hockey conversation because we're kind of on a roll right now with hockey for the most part of that conversation. And big news dropped. What was it? Was it yesterday? Thursday?
I think so, yeah.
It was yesterday, right?
I think it was yesterday.
Paul Maurice
Yesterday.
resigning as the head coach of the Winnipeg Jets. This one kind of came out of nowhere for me. I don't know about you guys. I didn't see this coming. They're 3 points out of a playoff spot. Yeah, they're not doing as well as some people expected them to do this year. But at the same time, like they're 3 points out of a playoff spot, and they've dealt with so many injuries and a few COVID cases themselves. Like, I was shocked by this one, Irfan.
Yeah, very shocked. Actually, I was scrolling through the score yesterday, and I was like, "Wait, Twitter." It was a clip by Tim and Friends, and I was like, "Wait, hold on, timeout." He what?" So I went back, did some research, and yeah, he stepped down. And I mean, definitely a new voice, but like this guy lost top defensemen over the last 3 to 4 years, and still made the Jets a compatible, like a strong competition for teams. Like he's a good coach. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
And I think I respect the maturity of the decision going, yeah, we're very stagnant right now. Like, yes, we're improving, or yes, we're not, yes, we're playing well, sorry, but we're not going in a direction that's going to get this team winning a championship. Maybe it's time for a reset. And like, I'm very shocked by it, very caught off guard. He's going to have a job very soon again. Like, give him maybe a couple months and he'll be back coaching because he's that good. But
I don't know if he
yeah,
wants to coach though.
maybe you're right. Maybe he
he's been
doesn't want to
coaching since he was 20. He's been a head coach since he was 25.
Yeah, since the Hartford Whalers. Yeah.
Yeah, he might just be. He might take. It might not be a few months. It might not be a few years. He might take some time here and just be like, "Hey, you know what? I've done this for so long. It's time for the next chapter of my life."
Yep.
And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we see him on a TV broadcast in a few years, because he is so well spoken. Like that's the one thing that I always realized about Paul Maurice is that this guy is so well spoken. Every conversation you hear from him, it's meticulously thought out, but also doesn't feel forced. Right? Like it just feels like he's having a conversation with you, and he understands everything. It's not like he's biased by his team. Like when the Jets and Leafs had that whole kerfuffle a few weeks ago, when he spoke about it after, he was pretty honest. He's like, yeah, the refs missed a call. Our guy had a bad hit, and Jason Spezza had a bad hit, and it kind of all snowballed from there. And unfortunately, that's the way it works. right? Like it's the way it happens. I was like, holy crap! Like no other coach is gonna do that. Every other coach is gonna just
No,
single out the guy from the other team and say, "Oh, that was an awful hit." Like I can't believe they let it get to that. It's like, well,
Yeah.
but no, Maurice is honest about it. Maurice has always been that way, and that's what I remember most about him. And I think that's what I'm gonna remember the most about him moving forward because he was just. It never felt like he was forcing anything. He never felt like he was scripted by anybody else. It was always him. And that's why I think he'll probably end up in a broadcast role at some point if he wants to. Because
no.
who wouldn't just want to have a conversation with him on air? Like, right,
Oh,
Kyle?
for sure. No, for sure. So, I mean, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a little period where he takes a break. And I think, especially with everything going on with today's world and everything like that, I think it's just one of those ones where it's okay. I'm not coaching. Let's go home. Let's go relax for a bit.
Spend time with the
And
family.
I think in order for him to go back into coaching, if he truly does want to go back into coaching,
Yeah.
I think it's got to be the right situation. He's not going to go to a developing team that needs a brand new coach. That like he's not going to go like an Ottawa team. He's not going to go somewhere like that. Sorry, Irfan.
Sorry, Irfan's
Don't
face when
bother.
you said auto. He's like,
He's
No, I was
going.
trying to I try not to laugh. It's true.
He's going to go to a team where they're on the fringe of being playoffs. They have a young core, like that kind of stuff, where they just need that little bit more to get them over the edge. Is really the team he's going to go to. That's the type of coach he is. He can truly make them take that next step, and I think he's fantastic for that. You know, getting them over the hump once he gets them there, that's a whole different issue. We got to see where that can go, but. As you said, 100%. I could see him doing some sort of broadcasting role as well, and truly striving in that as well. So you know, all the best to him in future endeavors, and see how it goes.
yeah, and like I just kind of want him to do what's right for him at this point, right, Irfan? Like this guy's been everywhere. He's done pretty much everything. The only thing he hasn't done is win a Stanley Cup. Right? Like he's been in the playoffs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times in the NHL across 25 years. Like how sweet is that? Like that's incredible. And he's lost in every single round. He lost in round 1, he's lost in round 2, he's lost in round 3, and he lost in the finals with the Carolina Hurricanes in 2001, 2002.
Yeah.
He's literally done
I mean,
everything.
he's also coached some very blech teams for quite some time as well.
That is true.
I was
Right?
gonna say pretty much every year he was a Leafs coach. It was year.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Can we take in that he had a winning record in both seasons as a Leafs coach?
Yeah.
I believe that.
That's incredible.
The team
Because that team was awful.
Oh, horrible.
They were
That's probably
bad.
that's probably why he's so respected around the league is his ability to claw the best out of his players. I think I'm gonna miss him behind the bench. I believe he lived around the Oakville area, because my dad ran into him a few times. So, I mean, if he's moving back closer to us, I'm like, all right, yeah, some Paul Maurice in action, but
We'll just call him up to the Arundel Minor Hockey Association to coach with us, right, Kyle?
Yeah.
No, I mean, if this is a break for him, and he deserves it. Like, I think whatever decision this guy makes, he's a solid dude, solid Canadian dude. Yeah,
For sure. I agree 100%. And this is a guy who I've respected ever since I've realized who he was, because sometimes you don't realize who the coach is sometimes. But as soon as I started to listen to him talk, you're like, okay, I respect this guy. I totally get why he's a head coach and why he's been so good. I think, let me just check this. He's had, since 98, 99, he has only had 3 losing seasons as a head coach in the NHL. That's ridiculous. Since 98, 99, he's had 3 losing seasons as a head coach.
It's pretty impressive.
does he get credit for that? Carolina team that wins the 2006 Stanley Cup because he was there for the building pieces.
Yeah. He does deserve some credit, for sure.
Not the
Unfortunately,
whole
he
credit,
stopped
obviously.
coaching them in 2003, 2004 was his last season. And that was
Yeah.
one of the last years that he had a losing record.
No, that's probably why he was let go. But I mean, you look at the core that was there, or the way they were drafted, the way they were thinking. I think he brings. I give him a little shout
A
out
little
there.
credit for sure, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's crazy though. That's ridiculous. Uh, yeah, so good luck to Paul Maurice. Hopefully he finds something that makes him happy. Let's keep rolling here, boys. A little football talk in the Grey Cup came and went, and the Blue Bombers remain Grey Cup champions.
Mm-hmm.
It was a slow start. Oh my goodness. That first half was awful.
Yeah.
Awful football. The halftime show was good.
Yeah, it was good.
But then the second half really brought the fireworks. Holy moly, that was probably the most entertaining half of football I've seen all year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In either the NFL or CFL. Like that was just entertainment turned up to another level. Back and forth. Ticats were up by, what was it, 18 at one point or 20? They were up by a lot, and then the Blue Bombers slowly chipped away. Everyone kind of questioned why they took a field goal at one point to remain a 2-score game.
Or they did a touchback or something to try and they gave like 2
I was
points.
talking about the Blue Bombers earlier, and then the Blue Bombers go up by 2.
Yeah.
And the Ticats
and then the Ticats
on
did
the
that.
return. The guy took a knee in the end zone to put the ball up 35, not waste any time. The Ticats end up tying the game, going to overtime, and then Caleros leads the boys, gets the touchdown, and unfortunately, Masoli gets picked off in overtime. By the way, the probably most incredible pick I've seen this year as well. Bounced off 2 people. The one guy reaches down, scoops it up to the other guy. Like, just incredible. And I don't know, Kyle, let's start with you. What were your thoughts on the game? What did you think about it?
I mean, the first half was terrible, but it was really a tale of one half, and it was just a matter of each team finally showing up. And you didn't think the wind was going to play that big of a factor, but it definitely played a huge factor into decisions. It was definitely a tactical game. You know, Winnipeg deferring in the first half and then deferring in the second half too. You don't see that very often. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it all set up to having, you know, the ball in the fourth quarter, and it actually proved a big factor as they scored 15 points in the fourth quarter compared to 6 from Hamilton. So, I mean, it was big in that case. So it ended up being a very entertaining game. You know, it didn't start off that much, but it was definitely something that was needed that we spoke about last week. Something that was needed in the CFL to truly bring it back a little bit and have a really good, entertaining game.
And what did I say to you after the game? What did I text you? What were the? What did I text you, Kyle?
I'm trying to think of what exactly the words were.
I believe the words were, and I quote, "The league needed it."
Yeah.
I said, "What a game!" You said, "Oh yeah," and I said, "League needed it." That's it, Irfan. The league needed it.
Yep.
You want to add to that, buddy? You're on mute, Irfan.
Or we just can't hear him.
Or we can't hear him. We've lost Irfan, folks. We can see him.
Hello?
There we go.
There it is. There we go.
My headphones died? All right. I guess I'm going to be screaming a little.
There you
No,
go.
you're good. That's fine level. You don't have to yell.
Yeah. All right. Okay, good. Sorry.
That's a new one.
It was a slow start. I mean, it kind of looked very similar to the Ticat Argos game, which started off pretty slow as well. But I think full credit. I'm giving credit to the Arkells for getting the energy up in the stadium, to getting the players' morales boosted. Because when the second half started, especially in the first couple of minutes of the third quarter, oh my God, every play we're like, I didn't have a favorite going into this, and I was like screaming at every play. I was like that's a great play. Oh crap, good defense, or oh shit, there's a flag on a freaking finger move on the line there. I was like, oh, how do you catch these things? Like it got more intense. It got a lot better. A lot of those things that you guys mentioned, like questioning, oh, why are you doing this, or why aren't they going for this, or why are you kicking here? Like there was a lot of those questions that went through the game, but I mean at the end of it, like it was an entertaining 4 quarters, and then I love our overtime.
4 quarters. Hold on. It was an entertaining 2 quarters.
2.5.
I'm just collectively putting everything.
2.5 quarters. You're right.
Yeah. But like the game itself was 4 quarters,
Yeah.
right? So,
Okay.
but well, actually, no, make it like 4 quarters technically, because overtime was as long as it was, and it was better than the first 0.5 of the game or whatever, quarter and a half of the game. But I was just gonna say, like, I really enjoy the way our overtime worked. You get a touchdown, and the other team gets an opportunity to answer, whereas
You have to go for 2.
Yeah, you have to go for 2. Like, there's no kicking. Like, I was like, man, you know what? This is nail biting. I'm okay with this. Let's keep going with it. And I think that led to that brilliant, was it 3-touch catch? It's like as if they practiced it in training the day before, going, all right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna work on these weird throws that are gonna come at you, and you guys have to, like, everyone has to touch it once before somebody can catch it or something. But
Yeah.
no, a very entertaining overtime. So no, good Grey Cup. I don't think I've seen this much excitement in maybe 3 or 4 years in a Grey Cup final. And I mean, the Stamps and the Red Blacks in the finals a couple of years ago was pretty nice. But I mean, I had a team that I was rooting for at that point.
Fair. Yeah, I thought it was great, and as I said, I thought the league needed a game like this, especially after the shutdown last year where we didn't have a season, and obviously the diehard fans were going to be there regardless. But I think this allowed some fans that maybe were kind of fringe and just sort of interested in the game. Maybe this will draw them in a little bit more. There's a lot more intricacies in the CFL game than the NFL game when it comes to points. That rouge is a big play when it comes down to it, and we can talk about that a little bit. That Kyle, you're more versed in this than probably I am, but like taking that knee at the end of the game to get to the 35-yard line. Did you like that call by the Ticats? Did you think they should have ran that ball out?
Which knee
off the kickoff after Winnipeg scored, the Ticats took the knee in the end zone to give Winnipeg a point to put it at 3 points.
Oh yeah. I mean, I personally don't, but that's just me. I mean, there was another play that I didn't quite understand where Hamilton got an extra 15 yards on the kickoff after they went up by 3, I think. Or I can't remember what point it was, but that extra 15 yards on the personal foul, but then proceeded to not kick it out of the end zone. And they proceeded to short kick it, which to me makes 0 sense, because that actually came down to being a huge factor. Because actually, no, it wasn't a 3. It was a 8 or 9 point. If they got that extra rouge out the back of the end zone on the kickoff, it would have been a 9-point game.
Yeah.
And basically would have made the game essentially out of reach.
Yeah.
So to me, there was little things like that I didn't quite understand. Maybe the kicker couldn't have kicked it out to the back of the end zone. Who knows? But I mean,
Domagala has a leg, so he probably could have.
So it was one of those, like, but you had an extra 15 yards. You're essentially almost at midfield by kicking off the ball.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure you could kick 60 yards out the back of the end zone. Like, sorry. But
I have a question about that. Does it have to go out the actual back, or does it have to go through the pylons, but it can go out the side?
It can go out the side like that.
Because if I'm that, I'm kicking 55 yards on an angle.
But it's got to. I don't think it can go straight out. I don't think.
Yeah, if it goes out the back, it has to be able to go straight out.
No, like it bounce out. I mean, like I don't know if they would still consider it with a straight out, or if they would actually consider it out of bounds. I'm not sure. Depends on where the line works.
That's what I mean. Like it would have to go inside of the pylon, like clearly inside the pylon, but out the side.
Yeah, that would all come down to the line judge. That's why a lot of times they just let it bounce and it goes out the back. But I mean, that was another situation I just didn't truly understand. I didn't really get that whole part, but
That's fair.
I do. Now that I think about the knee, that was for the safety, right?
No, it was for the 1 point off the kickoff. Winnipeg had just
Um,
scored. They did the kickoff, and the guy caught the ball in the end zone and took a knee because they were up by 2, and then they gave up the point to go up by they were down by 2. They gave up the point to go down by 3 to take the ball at the 35-yard line as opposed to trying to run it out to the 35 and waste time.
I mean, it's all tactics, and it's like one of those like. I guess it really comes down to if you didn't run it out as far as you could, do you risk punting into the wind and giving Winnipeg the ball on who knows what 30-yard line with time to go?
Yeah.
Or do you take it out to the 35-yard line, try and pin them back as far as you possibly can, and do it that way? So, I mean, it's all tactics, and clearly it didn't work out for Hamilton in that aspect, but that's what the games come down to. So
It's true. And you know what? Like, I didn't mind the decision to take the knee. I know a lot of people are really pissed about it. But when you actually think about it, think about how much time you would waste running that ball out.
yeah,
Right? I know it's the Canadian Football League and the clock stops on every play and restarts as soon as it's whistled in. I get that. So,
yeah,
but you're still wasting time. And if you don't get to the 35-yard line or beyond, you're wasting time and losing yards.
yeah.
So you take the knee. It's a 3-point game. You trust your offense to go out and get the points. And they did, to be honest. They went out and got the points needed. They scored. They kicked the field goal, and we went to overtime.
Mm-hmm.
And Caleros got his team into the end zone. I won't say it was pretty because it was an ugly drive, but he got his team into the end zone and proceeded to get the 2 points. So I can't really fault him on that. Speaking of Caleros, and this is a fun conversation that I've been waiting to have all week. Did he deserve the MVP?
No.
He didn't, right? Don't get me wrong. Season MOP, sure, fine, no problem with that. He deserved it then. MVP of this game, not a chance. I can name at least 3 players on that Winnipeg team that deserved it over him.
I don't understand how a quarterback who throws 2 picks in the game wins outstanding player in the game. It's not as if he threw for 400 yards. He threw for 240 yards.
Yeah.
Really not that impressive.
I know.
Like, it was like, I don't know. To me, that was just weird. But
so the question then becomes, who should have been MVP? Irfan, let's get your opinion because I know we talked about it earlier. You had somebody, so.
I did. So for Winnipeg, I would have gone Big Hill. I really liked the defense. Like, full credit to the Ticats offense running, doing the run plays where there's like 15 guys going, opposite directions. But I noticed that Big Hill on 3 or 4 very important drives caught the play. Like, he was just reading the play really, really well. Great defense. I mean, that, like, the last play of the game, it was Blue Bomber defense that picked that ball, right? So, I mean, Big Hill to me was a big voice in the back end. I would have chosen him. I just really loved the game that he played.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. Kyle, did you have someone that you would have suggested for MVP?
yeah, I made this abundantly clear on Twitter that I was not very happy with the decision.
I know you did. That's why I'm kind of waiting for this.
Sergio Castillo, and it's not even close. I'm sorry. It's not even close. Without him in that game and kicking those field goals, Winnipeg's not even considered in this game. I mean, he was clutch. He hit 5 of 5 for his field goals. He got the extra. He didn't get credit for the rouge because it was their kickoff guy or whatever, punter. But
no,
without him,
Castillo did the kickoffs.
No, it was on the punt that they got the rouge, not the kickoff.
No, they did. He got 1 rouge. He got the end of the game, the one at the end of the game that we were just talking about. That was off of a kickoff.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. It was Leggio or whatever got the rouge.
The other one, yeah. Leggio got the other one, yeah.
But
Western
like to me, like 16 points and they scored 33. He was literally almost half of their entire points was kicking the ball, and it's like the kickers truly don't really get enough credit sometimes.
Kyle, you're also forgetting the extra points.
Yeah, true.
So
Fair.
he had more than half of them.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
And it's one of those.
Am I wrong?
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Because they scored what, 2?
How many touchdowns did they actually have? 2 touchdowns.
Well, because they went for 2 in extra, so 25. He had 16 points by
He had
himself, so they
17.
scored. Yeah, so because they would have scored. Yeah, okay. Um, so it's one of those, like, to me, we were watching the game on Sunday, and it was like, this is his this is his MVP to lose. It's really what it is.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, if Andrew Harris maybe put up a touchdown, could I have given it to him potentially? That would be my second guy I probably would have given it to. 80 yards rushing, add a couple yards in receiving too. I would have considered him. But even then, I don't think it's really close. It's Santos, or sorry, I kept
Castillo.
calling him Sergio. I kept calling him Sergio Santos last week. I don't really know why, but it's Castillo, and that I will die on that hill that he should have won MVP.
Yeah, I agree. The other 2 names that I was thinking of, Winston Rose on that defense and Kyrie Wilson. Both of those guys played incredible as DBs in this game. Wilson obviously had the game-ending interception off of the Rose tip.
Yeah,
So,
you could throw in Darby in there too if you wanted to.
yeah, you could throw Darby in. He was the third guy for me, but I was saying the other 2. I noticed they were all over the place. Darby had an incredible game. Like,
Yeah.
you could even say Willie Jefferson influenced the game. I know he only had 3 tackles, but man, they were like double teaming him, triple teaming him, trying to just keep him away from Masoli in the end. Also,
Oh yeah.
full credit to Jeremiah Masoli. That
Yeah.
guy, after the week he had, after being pulled from the semifinal, not getting many first team rep because they were going with Dane Evans, and Dane Evans goes down in the first quarter or early second quarter, whenever it was, and Masoli stepped in.
Yeah.
And what did he throw for? He threw for 185 yards on 20 of 25.
Yeah.
He had 2 touchdowns. Like, I give full credit to that guy. That is a tough situation to go into. Also ran for 35 yards as well. Let's not forget that. Like,
Yeah. Well, and the only pick he threw was that one at the end of the
the
game.
one at the end
So,
where it was tipped by 3 people.
Yeah.
Like, full credit.
He came in with a mission, eh? Like the minute he got the first snap, it looked like this guy he is a motivation to do well right now. Yeah.
And as
he was pissed off. It's simple as that. He was.
Well, was he pissed off, or was he
was.
had he just decided, you know what, this is my team. I'm going to do what I can for my team, and I think that's what he stepped in for.
I think he was pissed off and said, "Hey, like, you guys started the wrong guy. I'm going to go out and show you who should have started the game."
Maybe, but it's actually funny because, like, you actually talked. If you had a chance to listen to some of the press conferences, I know it's press conference and they kind of have to play nice, but if you do it all the way back all season long, Dane Evans and Jeremiah Masoli, like, are each other's biggest supporters at this point.
I'm not saying Masoli has something against Dane Evans. I'm saying Masoli what Masoli was doing is auditioning for his new team next year.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what he was doing.
That's true.
So it was one of those screw you, Ticats. I'm gonna go out. If I win it for you guys, it was one of those, like, if I win it for you guys, great. I won a Grey Cup. I'm going to a new team next year, and I'm going to be the starting quarterback. It's simple as that. Like, it's really one of those, like, all right, you want Dane Evans to be your guy? No problem. I'll show you guys what you're missing out on. I'm out next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's weird to think like that, but that's 100% what his motivation was he's like, I know what I'm capable of. You guys clearly, like, maybe not necessarily don't believe in me, but you don't think I'm the best option. So let's go prove you wrong.
Well, it's funny though, because going into the Eastern Conference Final, he was the option. He was the number 1.
Yeah.
And he's been the number 1 for most of the year. Right? So he was the number 1 on the Ticats.
Yeah.
And then he had a bad game. Let's not deny that. That was an awful game against the Argos. It was bad.
100%.
And Dane Evans stepped up and played a phenomenal game, 16 for 16. Right? Like, we can talk about that all we want. So they said, okay, well, right now, the guy who's playing the best is Dane Evans. So they went with him in the Grey Cup. What?
I'm watching college football bowl games right now.
Of course.
And Dion, who's coaching
Prime
Jackson
time?
State, was just driving on the field in a three-wheeled motorcycle.
Of course. That sounds about right. It's Deion Sanders.
Yeah, I just can't say I was expecting that to be riding on midfield on a three-wheeled motorcycle.
It's Deion Sanders. Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to add? Oh, I guess the Arkells were almost the highlight of this game, eh? Like that halftime show was really, really good. I know there was some sound issues here and there. It sounded like some of the mics were not great, but like the music was so good. The Lumineers were fantastic guests.
Those the guys with the instruments just dancing the whole time. I was like, how the hell are you?
Who was the girl? I forgot her name that joined.
It's a really weird name. I can't think of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, you're right. It's like Ribs, Dibsy or Ribs, something like that. It was.
Yeah.
It's like really phenomenal. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name. I really do apologize if you're listening to us. I'm bad with that.
Well, yeah, we were saying on Sunday that was your ultimate your wet dream. Sorry, the weird way of saying it, but it was your it was Nick's music. It was everything he listened to.
It was Cam Hughes.
It was everything he listens to. It's that type of music. It was like, oh my god, Nick is like, oh my god, this is finally the time.
It was Cam Hughes' music.
No, we were saying it was Nick's. It was, and they brought in the Lumineers, and we're like, yeah, Nick's in heaven right now. Nick's in heaven right now.
I wasn't, because I was producing that, and we were trying to make sure that the sound kept going through properly on the radio, and that was awful.
See, I liked the show, but bringing out the Lumineers just slowed it down.
That was the one thing that I did say. I was like, I love the Lumineers. They're a great band. Don't get me wrong, but it kind of just felt like it became too slow.
Well, it was like first song super hyped up. Let's go, let's get it going, and then like I guess they did like half a song after that, and then it was all of a sudden Lumineers, and it's like, okay, guitar solo.
Yeah, and it's not even like they're like the Lumineers just don't play fast music, and I get that, and it is what it is, but it was still entertaining. Like it wasn't bad.
Oh, for sure.
And then they slowly built it back up to that last song, which was so much fun to watch everyone jumping around on that stage. Like that was cool. So, in the end, it was a really good show. I was very impressed. I did not like the last one, to be honest. The last CFL halftime show. I think that was wasn't that Carly Rae Jepsen and Justin Bieber or whatever 2 years ago?
I can't say I watched it 2 years ago.
Was it Alessia Cara? I don't. That's the thing. I don't even remember. That's my point. I'm gonna remember this one.
K-Flay is the lady's name. Is the rapper. Yeah.
She was
really weird name. Yeah.
She was really good. That's all that matters. All right, boys. It's time. Let's start reminiscing. 100 episodes together, the three of us. When I say that, 100 episodes, what's the first thing that like comes to your mind, Kyle?
Well, 100 episodes. It's kind of surreal with how much time's passed. I mean, looking back at it, obviously. And it was actually it was this year that we did it was when you and I did the NFL draft live show. Like that to me, it was a great thing. It was one of those, something unique that we hadn't done before that that was kind of cool. And obviously like live reactions and all that kind of stuff was definitely worth it. And it's weird, but the other thing I look back on was that movie, the movie
Madness
winners. Yeah. The movie Madness, whatever we want to call it. And just everybody's reactions on like their favorite movies and like movies people haven't seen and all that kind of stuff. And it was kind of cool that we like, yes, we're a sports podcast, but we relate in movies and sports movies and all that kind of stuff and kind of touch a little bit on everything. So, I mean, it's been a great almost 3 years and 100 episodes. So, I can't complain.
Yeah, they're fun. 100. What does 100 mean to you?
You know, when we had our 100 like garage door sport in total episode, I was like, I can't wait for ours because like I think that was a massive feat. That was an amazing time, and then put hers into perspective, and it's like, okay, this is like the three of us have actually done this together. But I will say the fact that I've appreciated is the amount of friends or people that I've met through our show. You know, huge shout out to the Culvers. Shout out to Haley. Just good people that you come across. Gabe, You know, like we can keep naming the list of wonderful people that have graced our show, and I think that's what I've respected is that they're good people, and it's not just like you have a guest and you never speak to them again, but it's like let's have a conversation every couple of weeks, and definitely enjoy that for sure.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, you nailed it right there on that.
and as I wear our sweater in pride, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's true. Like our guest list has been just incredible over the 100 episodes. Like you mentioned, Braden's been on, Haley, Luke has joined us, all the athletes that we've had on the show. Marco Carducci, Nico Giannisopoulos when they were on Cavalry, and then when Nico switched over to York, he joined us as well. Covering that ECPL and getting to talk to Max Ferrari and Feroz Ali, like that was really, really cool. Getting Mike on that one time to talk a little hockey. Like we've had just an incredible list of guests. The other one, speaking of our movie madness, Kyle, when we had when we had oh my god, I'm totally blanking on the player's name now. Oh no. Oh no, this is bad. Who was it? Somebody help me, please. Anybody?
What?
What are you referring to?
Huh?
What are you referring to?
When we had the player and his girlfriend's dad on, who owned
for the
Hollywood
movie Madness.
Cavalier. Yeah. What's the player's name now?
Off the top of my head,
Oh my god, this is gonna piss me off.
Chris Manella.
Chris, yes, Chris and his girlfriend's dad, who owns Hollywood Canteen. It was just, like that was so cool. The perspective they gave was incredible.
Yeah.
Right, like we've had some just great guests, and it's made our lives easier. I mean, you also mentioned Gabe, right? And we can talk about Eric last week. That was a lot of fun. And having all the hosts from all the other shows jump on here and there, right?
Yep.
Like, I mean, we've had Logan join us for that draft show, Kyle. That was awesome. We've had Ryan on before from 20 Minutes on Ice. We still have yet to have Paige on this show, eh?
We have.
We had Paige on this show?
Yeah, we did. A couple months ago.
We did the Euro preview with her.
That's it. We did. You're right. I was just mixing up shows. I'm sorry.
It's okay. When we first started, though, like,
I mean, we see your priorities. It's fine.
When we started, though, like it never felt like there'd be more than our show.
Yeah.
And now you look at it, and there's 2, 3, 4, 5 at one point that were added to the whole network. Right? 6. Yeah. So
it's 6.
Yeah. Like that's just in perspective. You're like, I did not see that coming in our first 2, 3 couple. Like especially in our first year, I was like, there's no way. Like it's just the 3 of us. That's how it is. That's how our Saturdays are gonna be. But now that you see things associated with it, we got the betting, we got hockey, we got soccer, we had Kellen at one point, we had football, we had the rugby show for a little bit. Like just spectacular for sure.
And like, let's not forget that we've done 100 episodes of a sports podcast. Majority of that time, we've been in a pandemic.
Yeah.
Right? We had 3 months where we had no sports.
Yeah.
And yet we still managed to put an episode on pretty much every week during that. I mean, I think we took a couple weeks off here and there because, as I said, mental health wasn't always the best. And I think that's one thing that if I have to look back and think of my fondest memory of everything, as Kyle gets up and leaves, I think my fondest memory or fun and is the fact that you guys kind of saved me. Like, I know that sounds really, really cheesy, but like I wasn't doing great at some points in this time, right? Between everything going on in my personal life, everything going on with the pandemic at one point, like I wasn't doing the best. And this show, everything that we've done across the network, like it saved me. I know that sounds really cheesy, and I hope you guys understand that, but like it's something that I will never forget of this first 100 episodes is that we got through probably the worst time that we will have to get through. And we're doing good. All of us, I think, are doing really good.
Hero, baby.
Yeah.
And that summarizes why. Yes, right there.
That's it right there. That is literally,
it
that
did.
literally is the answer as to why we all survive this. Is that we keep making jokes with each other and we keep each other's spirits up. So
Yeah.
it's been great. It's been a tough. It's not always been easy, but also to think about like how far we've come in the 100 years with the network itself, all the graphics that are on this network, all
100
the
years.
stories.
Yep.
100 years, yeah. Shut up. 100 episodes. Shut up.
I know I've aged, but I didn't think it was that much. Holy shit!
I was literally trying to
We look
fix
really
a
good for
wrinkle
100, those boys.
Yeah.
10 seconds ago, but all right. But okay, so now let's add to this. For example, we've done 100 episodes of our show, but like Kyle, how many have you hit with the betting podcast? How many for the hockey podcast? How much for our soccer? Like, add that together, and like even that feat has been.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how many we've done for betting. I off the top of my
We're
head,
at-
I couldn't even tell
You're
you.
at 58 or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're at 48. We're 2 away from 50. Yeah.
Yeah, because we were week 57
56.
or something the other week.
56 or 57.
And I think we've missed a couple weeks, but it's definitely near the 50s. That's for sure.
Right. Like look at where the other like what we've done with the other shows too. Like I know I mentioned the expansion, but it's just insane. It blows my mind.
Yeah. Like it truly is incredible, and it's amazing to see how far we've come. I guess the question is, what are we gonna do next? Like, where are we taking this next, boys?
Yeah.
We are officially the next big broadcast company.
I like it.
Thank you very
I
much.
like it.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
No, we got a lot coming up the pipe. Hopefully, we'll do another like movie marathon thing or movie madness in the summer. I would love to see more of us being able to do some cool updates like that.
You know what we could do? Like do a bracket of our best episodes from like our show and our expansion team, like our network shows. So be like, oh, I really loved. Like there was one I think Kyle was listening to for your betting when it was early on, and I was like, oh, like I'm not. You guys both know I don't bet, so I don't understand the rules very much. But out for that one, I was like, I understood the whole episode. It was well versed, like everything looked really good. I believe so. Like we can toss that into it or something. We can have like the best episodes of each shows, and then kind of have a final battle. I don't know if that would work. I mean, that'd be a lot of listening, but. But once you read the description of an episode, I think you remember it right away. So,
for sure.
Yeah.
No, I think eventually, once some stuff is gone, maybe we can do a couple in-house shows again too. Potentially, if we can work that out, see how that works. I think that's get back to our roots, I guess is what you could say, because we've been doing the virtual one for too long now,
almost 2 years.
But.
Well, I mean, technically, we've been doing virtual for longer, but it used to be you and me in the same room with Irfan in Ottawa.
Yeah.
We've all been doing it virtually for 2 years almost.
Mm-hmm.
So
and it's little things. I think there's definitely some stuff we haven't touched on that we can potentially touch on, all kind of stuff. There's so much room for us to continue to do this, and I can't wait for the next episodes to be done. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we just had a comment in the chat, boys, and I want to keep talking about 100, but I think we're kind of at the end of it. So let's just get into this. We have a first time chat from a viewer, Alex224678A, saying, "Hello, I'm from Russia. What do you say about Zenit's game in the Champions League and about the last round of Chelsea Zenit?" Irfan, this is all you, buddy.
Hold on, I need to pull up.
It was a 3-3 game when they played Chelsea in the last game. So
yeah, trust me, I'm not happy about that as a Chelsea fan.
So, essentially, to answer,
what do you make of it then, Kyle? Like I missed the game. I'll be honest. I was.
I mean, first watching that game, I didn't watch the whole thing. I only watched up until probably about fifth, like basically just after halftime. We had to get a little work done. Zenit completely dominated in that first half. That was Zenit's game to lose. Honestly, they came out. They were strong. They had huge. They had a huge possession in the first half specifically. I mean, it ended up being 54% Chelsea possession, but in saying that, Chelsea with only 54% possession is a very poor game of possession for them because they're usually around the 60 plus mark because they always keep the ball and just basically the other team has to counter. Right, Chelsea's the team that just needs the possession. But I mean, Zenit had like 18 total shots, 7 on net. They were pretty much dominating Chelsea, and it was bad for me to say. As soon as they scored that first one, I'm like, okay, this isn't going in the right direction. Then they scored the second one to go up 2-1 before half, and I'm like, all right, Chelsea's done in this game. Like they just weren't playing well, and Zenit was playing great. And I mean, Chelsea obviously came back. Zenit kind of stole the extra 2 points with that 90th plus 4 goal, which I didn't think was possible, but they battled back, and give them all credit because if they played the way they played in this game in a couple of their other group matches, I think there was a chance they could have pushed a little bit more for fighting for a second spot.
Listen, I'm not going to take anything away from Zenit, but I will also say that Chelsea in the last 3 to 4 weeks have struggled without N'Golo Kante being healthy. So I know one player doesn't make a team, but I think losing one of your best players that bosses your midfield, I think it's been struggling. They've blown leads against West Ham. They've played okay against United. They played a couple weeks ago. They also didn't look great. And Kyle, yes, they're a possession-based team, but they need at least 55 to 60% of that ball. But they only had it because that pressure in the 80-something minute with Werner's goal. But going to Zenit, to answer Alex's question, I thought Zenit did a good job of saying that if they win this game, they actually have a chance at a Europa spot and continuing their European quest, which, it doesn't look like it when you have Juve and Chelsea paired up against you in the same group.
No.
And this is disappointing credit to Zenit for a good game, for pushing Chelsea back, and maybe that just exploits a couple weaknesses in Tuchel's system, which I haven't been able to say for the first 4 months of the season because they've been great. But this also shows you that even Juve isn't great. Like this group, like Juve did not play well against Malmo. I thought Malmo played the ball very well. They're very efficient. None of the square passes that came out of that game were bad. Like it just looked like a good Malmo performance, and then you get Juve who gets a lucky goal. So at the end of the day, I think Chelsea didn't play well, and that's why the draw came out. And I thought, Juve also weren't good, and they probably didn't deserve that win. If that wraps up, or that summarizes that group, I just hope they're both sharp going into next round. I mean, Chelsea has Lille next, so don't take it as a walkover because Jonathan David's going to have a goal or two, definitely. But this will be a good test to get N'Golo Kante back and healthy, and maybe that's going to help them secure it.
Yeah. And if you're looking ahead for Zenit, they're now in the Europa League playoff against Betis. I think they have a very good chance to win that and move on to the round of 16, and then end up in the draw there. I think that's a great opportunity for them to continue playing in Europe, and I think they could actually go pretty far. I know they only got 5 points out of the group stage, but that's 5 hard points that I don't know how many people expected them to do that well. So keep looking forward, Alex. Hopefully your team can keep playing.
Good luck against Betis, who's a top 3 La Liga team right now.
Well, and the biggest thing with them is they are tough to play against at home. That's the biggest thing.
Exactly.
So if they take care of business at home, then they'll be fine.
Well, the away goal rule isn't there anymore. So yeah, you need like you said, you need a solid home performance, and they probably will drag teams through it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Take care of business, then play defense.
Okay, here's the question though: are you guys happy that the away goal rule is gone?
No, I liked it.
Really?
I loved it. I loved going into this was United in their prime, going into Barcelona and pulling out a 1-0 win or a 1-1 draw and coming back to Old Trafford and being like, we've got some swagger. This was like before they lost in the finals.
But I think I don't know. For me, I think the goals shouldn't matter anymore. But going in and getting a 1-1 draw still would bring swagger back to Old Trafford and for
it would, but you could come out with a 0-0 home game. Not that we want to see that, but then you go, well, I'm through because we had a hell of a game away from home.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I mean, when I play manager mode, I love playing away from home because you can thrash a team 3-0 and go home and be like, I can sim this game now.
I was never a big fan of the away goal rule because, like, I just don't think it's that big of a deal, to be honest. I think every goal should count as equal because they're all hard to get at this point. Like, think about every goal being important. Why is one goal more important than another? Like, I just don't get it.
If you ask Paige this question, it should be like, screw the away goal rule because that's what knocked them out of the Champions League.
Yeah, like I'm kind of impartial to the away goal. I think in a way the away goal also did make those road games for certain teams more important because you had to try and go out and get a goal, and you had to go out and try and at least get a leg up going back to your home, right?
Yeah.
And if you started at home, you had to make sure you played. If you played to a draw, you're fine. You played to a 0-0 draw, no problem. But you can't lose at home by 1 or 2. And I think it made those first games really critical to either team. But I mean, you're still seeing good football either way. So
Yeah, I mean that's the thing for me. Like, I just don't think it matters. Like, we don't need to have one goal be more valuable. I think every goal should be equal in this, and you need to beat a team across 2 legs. Like, that's always been my thought. You can't draw twice and just happen to have the first draw was 1-1 away and the second draw is 0-0. Well, you're still even then. Like, I still think those 2 teams should keep playing to find a winner. That's kind of where I sit at. I think every goal should be valuable. So
I think they should just kill the extra time and just go straight to penalties.
oh.
I was gonna say that, or have a golden goal. You have 30 minutes or something to score.
Yeah, switch it from silver goal to golden goal. I agree with that. I don't think you can get rid of the extra time and go straight to
I
penalties,
watched
'cause
the
that makes me
worst
sick.
penalty shootout ever. It was in the Korean League, Vissel something. Holy crap! Everyone hit the ball over the bar, and like
You
4
told me
posts
about
went
this one. I
down.
forgot about this.
Like,
I was like,
first off, why are you watching Korean
it came
leagues?
up on my feed, guys. I have so many different soccer things popping up, and I'm like, oh, this is hilarious. They're
It was
like,
on,
this
like,
is the
Twitter or
worst.
something, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, it was on Twitter feed, and so it was like 3 over the bar, so Beckham's, a couple off the post, and I was like, no one's gonna win this game, and no one scored in those 5 shots or 10 shots, I guess, that I saw in the span. And I was like, oh, this is horrible. Thomas Vermaelen was playing in one of the leagues, and he skyrocketed the shot. I was like, Barcelona let you go for a reason. You can't score. But I mean, yeah, penalty shootouts, but none of those ones that look like that. Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, we saw some bad ones in the Euros, then leading up to Euros, and oh god, I love penalty shootouts when people are good at penalty shootouts. Like when both teams are scoring or goalies are making great saves. I hate when it comes down to like 4 guys missing the net.
Yeah.
Like,
missing the net, like getting stopped, I think is just to me, getting stopped by the goalie makes it better.
Yeah, that's part. I love that. I think that's incredible.
Yeah. I don't want, and it's weird to say, I don't want a penalty to go 5-4 and the guy misses the net and that's why they lose 5-4. I would rather like a 3-2 where the goalie makes a fantastic save in the last one to save the game, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, like now we're talking, like now it's interesting. Let's get going. So
like that one shootout where was it like 11 shooters that United was in last year, Irfan?
Yeah, the Villarreal final.
Yeah, the final where they went like 10 or 11 rounds and De Gea just took an awful kick.
I was gonna say it came down to the goalies.
But that was a great shootout. Guys were finishing kicks, and then when the goalies did make a save, the other goalie made a save to keep it even, right? Like there was very few missed kicks on that one. Like that's the kind of shootout that I like because that means everyone is realizing what it is. Okay, I just have to hit the net. Hit the net and force the goalie to make a save. And if the goalie makes a save when you force him to make a save, that's a good save. Like forget about it. I don't really care. I don't want to see 4 go over the net. So, I guess that's it, boys. Final thoughts for the week of episode 100, Irfan?
Actually, it was going to be that soccer shootout thing that I didn't think we were going to get a question on. That was my final thought. But
there you go.
I mean, hey, Saturday with you guys is fun, so let's keep it going.
Yeah, it's always fun when we get to talk. So, Kyle, your thoughts, man?
Well, thoughts is, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to anybody out there, because we won't be doing an episode next week. So if you do celebrate, then have a good one. Hopefully the snow that just came down last night, it looks like, stays, because it's absolutely white out there right now.
Hopefully we get more snow before Saturday, because that snow will be a little messy by the time Saturday rolls around.
Correct. As long as I just don't want a green Christmas. That's just my personal
We've
opinion.
had too many of those recently.
So hopefully that stays. And then final thoughts going back to the COVID thing. I really hope the leagues smarten up and truly, do the right thing and postpone it through up until at least through the new year. So we'll see what happens on that case. But that's my final thoughts. Is hopefully they do the right thing.
Yeah, as we've been talking, more players have been added to the NHL COVID protocols.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I sent you guys a link on Twitter with the new enhanced COVID rules that came out halfway through our show.
Yeah. And Kevin Durant has entered health and safety protocols. Nice. Great.
Oh, so that means my bet on the Nets is dead.
Probably not doing so hot right now. Oh, Kyrie might be back, right?
I mean, Brooklyn still should be able to beat Orlando, even without
think.
anybody like that. But
you'd think. But yeah, I think it's. All I want to say is happy holidays. We will not be doing a show next weekend because it is Christmas, and I will not be close to a computer all day. I'm shutting myself off for a day, spending it with my family. So,
yay!
You guys can do a show if you want, but I won't be here. Please just be safe, be smart. We're obviously in another wave of this pandemic, and this one looks like it's going to be a pretty brutal one. Not necessarily for hospitalizations and deaths right now. It doesn't look like we're going to get to that point at this point, but the contagiousness is going to be bad. So please be smart, be safe, enjoy the holidays in the right way. And hopefully once the new year comes around, we will all be able to enjoy time together and enjoy spending time watching sports, because that's what we're all here for. Yeah. So once again, thank you everyone for... Shut up, Kyle. Thank you everyone for joining us 100 episodes. We couldn't thank you enough for helping us get to this point. And here's to hundreds and hundreds more, boys. That's a scary proposition. Dealing with us for hundreds and hundreds of more episodes. Yeah. Yeah, Kyle. Yeah, I guess that'll do it. So for everyone here at Garage Door Sports, thank you for listening. If you want to follow us, look us up on Twitter at Garage Door Sport, on Instagram at Garage Door Sports. If you are looking for Irfan, it's at Irfan Manji on both. If you're looking for Kyle, it's at Kyle Vardy on both. If you're looking for myself, it's at Nick McVicker. Yes, my first name is Robert, so it says that on my account, but the actual handle is Nick McVicker. If you're looking for all the other shows, make sure you check them out as well. Go to our website, garagedoorsports.com, to find out more information on all of the shows. Mm-hmm. And hopefully we'll be bringing you more content come the new year. So signing off for this year, for 2021. We'll be back in 2022. Irfan, did you want to add something before I sign off here, sir?
I said, yay!
Yay! Woo! Irfan really liked the Pittsburgh Penguins kid on
I did
earlier. He got really excited.
It's like, this kid has energy. I need this energy.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's Saturday morning. None of us have that energy. Kyle's still half asleep.
I'm kind of awake now.
Sorry, Kyle was half asleep when we started.
Yeah.
But yeah, we love you guys listening. We love doing this, so we'll keep bringing you guys more episodes. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We will see you next time.